Very, very warm welcome and special congratulations for the last session and for all of this beautiful opportunity to be together and learn so much in the last 7 sessions. So we would like to begin by revising a bit about yesterday and getting the freshness of what this subject was before we continue. So enjoy.
Welcome. Today, we're going to tackle a really big, and let's be honest, often confusing idea, this concept of a supreme personality. But don't worry, instead of getting lost in a bunch of abstract philosophy, we're going to use a simple, ancient story as our map.
So let's start with the problem. The source material for this explainer points out that the word God is, get this, both the most commonly used and the most commonly misunderstood word out there. It's just so loaded, right? It means a million different things to a million different people, and for some it's even a bit off-putting. So for now, we're just going to set that word aside and try a totally different approach.
To slice right through all that confusion, we'll use that ancient story as our guide. You could think of it as a powerful metaphor with 3 key characters, and each one represents a piece of a really complex philosophical puzzle.
Okay, Section 1, the soul and the trap. Our story kicks off with 2 main characters. You've got the soul, and then you've got the trap that it's about to fall into.
So here are our first 2 players. On the left, we've got Sita, who represents the human soul. The source describes the soul as incredibly powerful, almost divine, but, and this is key, it has one crucial vulnerability. It can be deceived. And on the right, we have Ravan. He represents the world of deception. He is the embodiment of ego, greed, fear, a temporary story that feels completely real. Basically, he is the trap.
So what does life inside this trap actually feel like? Well, according to our source, it's this endless cycle of constant, escalating needs. There's always this persistent fear of being harmed. You're living in a temporary, unstable story, and you start to believe that this physical role is all you are. And where does that lead? Inevitably to sorrow, anger, and disappointment. But what if there's something beyond this trap? Well, that brings us to our third and final character.
And here it is. This is the absolute game changer. Ram is the one who never crosses that line. See, while the soul, Sita, can be lured into the trap, Ram is never, ever deceived. He stays permanently outside of Ravan's world of illusion.
So this brings us to the core difference between them, and the source explains it with these 2 amazing concepts: Perez versus Patar. Ram embodies Perez, which is like a divine intellect that sees the eternal truth beyond the temporary story. Ravan, on the other hand, is Patar, a stone intellect that can only see the deceptive story.
So what kind of personality comes from having this paracelic intellect? Well, because this personality is grounded in truth, it exists in a state of absolute security. It has 0 needs from that whole temporary story. And the natural result? Just pure bliss, love, and contentment. It's described as 100% innocent because nothing can truly harm it, and it possesses complete wisdom because it just can't be deceived.
Section 3, the freedom of company. Now, this is a fascinating story for sure, but what does it actually mean for us? This is where the metaphor gives us a really practical path to freedom. Which leads us to the big question, right? If the soul is trapped like Sita, how on earth does it get free?
Now, the answer here isn't some magical rescue mission. Instead, the source suggests that freedom comes through company, a process of transformation that happens when you connect with this supreme personality.
So how do you actually take company? Well, the source is clear this isn't about physical presence, it's a mental and intellectual alignment. The process has 3 steps. First, you try to see what this personality sees, to look beyond the temporary story. Then, you try to think what it thinks, adopting a perspective based on truth, not deception. And finally, you try to feel what it feels, tuning into that natural state of bliss, love, and contentment.
And that brings us to our final thought, just to tie this all together. So I'll leave you with this powerful analogy from the source material. Think about it. To recognize a truly great musician, don't you first need to learn something about music yourself? The idea here is exactly the same. To truly recognize and connect with the Supreme Personality, maybe we first have to cultivate a little of that same awareness, that soul consciousness within ourselves. It's a fascinating thought to take with you.
Oh, thank you. So something to remember yesterday, and it would be great to hear your notes, your thoughts. And what I liked as well was this reminder that we need almost like to start with a new perspective. And even when we see ourselves, we have to see something that's clean and separate from the roles. Same also with this notion of the friend of the soul. So welcome back to Prashant.
Hi. And good morning, and appreciate completing 7 days or reaching the 7th day in the marathon. Let us create another minute to that Supreme Personality. And for our journey, we absolutely need to use the best sight, best intellect. There is no great wisdom in using anything second best. And with this, we can see the alokik, the unearthly dimension. This absolutely helps the true self to become conscious. That's when we use the term invisible witness. And he sees the whole story as separate story. That is the whole game. Ravan's whole department is in the story. And the invisible witness, he understands story is separate. His world is separate. And his world is sublime, supreme, eternal. The moment he separates from the story world, his life is of silent bliss. And he knows that this is the truth of everyone. If they are to be free, they don't need anything to be happy. And that silent bliss comes with friends. With that is contentment, with that is being beyond that innocence, and peace, much more than peace. Also understanding everyone is harmless, and in fact no one can harm anyone. All are invisible, immortal, alokik. They are all unearthly. It is a Ravan free region. He wakes up to this. And this is the world with God. This is the world with our supreme friend, one who is always in this awareness, always awake, always paras. And as a result, one who is the wisest and holiest. Holy means free from Ravan. Never a trace of Ravan, that is holy. And he is the wisest. Never goes in that direction of ignorance. Sign of wisdom, that what we mentioned yesterday, one who doesn't cross the line. That is wisdom. Humans, animals who don't get deceived, they are wise. Thank you. And a quick revision of various things we discussed over the last 7 days. The first thing we discussed is this subject of becoming dependent. Don't take support from a broken branch. And we discussed that this world comes with a label end. It just disappears. Things disappear within it. And if something is to disappear, it is worse than a broken branch. And to take support from it just will make our life worse. And we said this is the essence of all our problems. 100% of the problems of the world are because of our taking support from this. Why are we taking support from a broken branch? Do you want to tell? The whole world is doing this, different levels. Some are at a deep end, some are at the other level. What is one word? What is one reason why anyone takes support from a obviously that is not a great support? And why are people taking support? You can type.
I think we know there are any options actually. Maybe unexamined life. Maybe because of insecurity, that's sort of trying to find it. There is ignorance and weakness. And because they don't see there's an end.
Yeah, very good. You know, the word I was looking for is patthar. You know, our intellect, blocked intellect, stone intellect, that deceives us. We can't see the obvious. And once we have taken support, then we are insecure. Insecurity comes because of taking support. And then agreed, because we are insecure, we then take more support. And then it becomes like a bigger, vicious circle. So everyone is trapped because they are insecure. They are clinging to this more. Creates such a chaos. This little mistake of the blind spot, not seeing the obvious, it creates demons. It creates Ravan's kingdom. It creates chaos in the world. It leads to wars. It creates ego and all degradation that you see in the world is because of this one mistake. But we are here to address the root. And we have the option of using paras. The reason I'm drawing this sketch each time, it is like a most important reminder for us and for me, and it is a necessary reminder. And what happens with this paras? You are able to see the big map. And with this big map, you can see your journey. Your understanding. Paras has got sense of the subtle. Paras can see the broad map. Within it is broad intellect. So it can see the bigger journey. It's not just me today, I, but he can see where I'm going also. can see what is going to happen tomorrow, can see the end of the journey. So one who is using paras, it is so obvious to him that we are these immortal and invisible travelers, and we are a family. And one leads to the next. Once you start experiencing it, you understand this opposite of the demon, opposite of Ravan. Ravan has got sad, bad, mad in the different departments. You discover zero sad, zero bad. There is no reason for any kind of even mild form of sorrow. There is no reason at all. There is no reason for mild form of being bad. Like it includes some manipulation, it includes some kind of selfishness. No, you are full. You are immortal. You love everyone. That becomes your nature, the deep nature, and you are never at loss. The story you know beforehand. It is a story, and it is not your story. Story, different things begin, it ends, everything disappears, and that's fine. That's a great story. That is the way he sees. Every minute you are playing with this, every minute with accuracy, coming into soul awareness, you are coming up the spiral. You are removing all these structures of Ravan. And that some different habits we do not like, different tendencies you do not like in yourselves. Answer is remove Ravan. Come up the spiral, and all these habits continue to dissolve. And that is like a true purification that happens. And in different ways, we said, it removes the ego, and we also said nature has the mechanism to bring pain. If I do not learn myself, then nature has the Vinash forces. So pain will force everyone to drop their any kind of dependency. Anything, if I am in a wrong direction, nature, pain comes. If I am in the wrong posture, pain comes until the posture is right. So everyone is aligned, and our aim is to learn through wisdom and to promote this message of nature. That is our aim. If you love anyone, that this is all you can do. You can give cakes and you can give many things to Ravan, but if you love the soul, you are a friend of the soul, then you have to give a message how they can learn before pain. Pain will come, that is the destined in nature. Doctors, what do doctors do? They share their experience, and then people learn before pain. Otherwise, after lots of suffering, the illness disappears. But you have learned through pain. If you learn before pain, then you heal faster. This is what the notion of service is. Now, today in our discussion, we are going to discuss what happens during our journey in this box. In a simple map, what I have shown, we come here and we are passing through, we are flying past this story, just travelers, we are witness. It appears very simple, and as if one life, we are here and then we go back. We have seen at some point in the discussion research on reincarnation. There is reincarnation, that also we have seen. Today we are going to take our journey in that box in more detail. First thing we are reminding ourselves, there is something called reincarnation. It is not just one birth, we go through many births. And during this journey, there is more details. There are some phases we go through. We are going to discuss these phases. This understanding is useful for our studying society. It's a very useful model for sociology, I feel. Now here, I just want to give an example. If you are studying in school about the heart, what you are told, let me draw again, the heart. So they show that there is a heart, and they tell you that there is a right atrium, right ventricle, left ventricle. Left ventricle is on the left, right ventricle is on the right. But if you have to become cardiac surgeon, that model is not enough. Then you realize that so-called left ventricle is not on the left, it is in the front. And the right atrium is not on the right, it is at the back, so bottom, it is down below. So many more, you need to know more detail, more precise detail. But in the school, this is enough to say that the right ventricle is on the right. So here also, we are going to discuss today the details of our journey. It is not just one life. It is good to see we are flying past, we are always flying past. The invisible traveler is flying past this story world. That is true, stories separate, but there are more details. And we said we go through different phases. These phases include few words and I will go into the details later. First phase, we use the word Brahmin. And Brahmin is a student life. It is a phase where you have love for knowledge. So in this particular phase, there is love for knowledge. Knowledge is the most important thing. We'll go into the details. Next phase is called the Deity phase. As a result of student, the end result of the Brahmin is the Deity. Knowledge gives you promotion. And so here, the Deity, what is the energy of the Deity? Those who have not heard it before this particular discussion, they get a first chance to answer. What is the energy of the Deity? Brahmin energy is love for knowledge. They know where the libraries are, where books are, where schools are, where bookshops are. And the deities, what is the energy of the deity?
To capture the devotee.
The real deities, we will be seeing in more detail.
Peace, feeling of peace, or maybe wisdom.
Right. Yeah, coming close. So here we are seeing happiness. These are perfect human beings. We call them deities. And no one stays in one stage forever. There is a downward spiral. That spiral is there from the first day. Just like you come on planet Earth, there is gravity. Gravity is always there. You may deal with it. You don't have to fall, but gravity is there. In the same way, deities don't stay deities. Then they go to the next next phase that is called warrior. And when you are in this warrior phase, what is the energy? Energy is courage. It also means the energy of happiness is becoming less. So that's why second best is courage. After warrior comes merchants. So energy of the merchant, they don't have courage either. They're further down the spiral. And so the energy at this time, they are looking for comfort. They don't want to do too many courageous things. Easy life in a merchant. And the word used is merchant doesn't mean they are just in the trade of merchant. They can be doing various things, but mentality is the merchant. After merchant, the word used is Shudra. Shudra is like another phase we enter through. We use the word clans. We are entering this phase or clan. And when we are in the Shudra phase, that is laziness. You are running out of all energies. And after Shudra, what is after Shudra? You can make a guess. Anyone can tell. After Shudra, what is the next phase?
Someone is saying demon.
Yeah, after
Yes.
Shudra,
Mm.
we use the word demon.
Someone else said angel. But yeah.
We'll come to that. Demon. Demon is a phase where you are dealing with sorrow. Take sorrow, give sorrow. It is virtually opposite to deity. Deity, you are taking happiness, giving happiness. And that is the deity ethics. Demon is taking sorrow and he's blaming others and he wants to take revenge. Now, just perverted psyche. So he just wants to. His happiness is in seeing problems of others. But then comes another phase. We go to our own bottom, means lowest, and then he becomes a student again. He becomes a Brahmin. Brahmin is a student. So it's a circle. That's what we are showing here. Our whole it is not forever down, down, or forever up, up, up. No, it is a circle. Brahmin is the time we are going up, and it's from the lowest we are becoming students, and students take you right to the top. You become a deity. In astrology, they use the word, omens of Neptune. Omens of Neptune catapults you, takes you right to the top, throws you into the sky. So when you are into these omens, you become Brahmin, and into Brahmin, there is a possibility. You come under the omens of Jupiter. Jupiter is associated with wisdom. But if you also come under the omens of Neptune, it just catapults you, takes you right to the top. So you become, in a very short time, a deity. Deity is a perfect man, but then there are other omens start. It is not, the sky is not always Neptune. So the omens, then when it becomes warrior and merchant, Shudra, and then demon, one who was a deity at one time, the same one comes in the phase, even thinking of giving sorrow also. There was a wisdom, and there was truth, and there was happiness, and giving happiness, love. That was, he was a deity at one time. And he, same one, thinks of sorrow, but then he becomes a Brahmin. We'll be going through details about each one of these. What we are seeing here is 100% of this human population, wherever they are, whichever city, town they are in, they all go through these different phases. Just like we go through, someone is a baby, then he becomes an adult, he becomes an old man, and he becomes very old man. Everyone goes through these different phases. Now you can sometimes see the photograph. Is it the same person? How can someone look so different? But we go through these different phases, and it happens whether you are in the north or south or west or east. Everyone has to go through that. So also you have to go through these phases for the Brahmin, deity, warrior, merchant, Shudra, demon, everyone. There are phases for. The difference is that some are at one level, some are at another level. That is the difference. So if you take a cross section of one city, there may be more warriors in that place. You take a cross section of another city, there may be more Shudras. That changes the dynamics. How the traffic works, how people operate, how the government operates, everything is affected just by changing this ratio. If the deities are more, there will be one kind of culture, ethics, same planet Earth. But you just see one city is something completely different. You go to another city, there is a different dynamics, and you see the it affects the social dynamics. Now we are coming to the Brahmin. Feel free to ask any or your comments any as we go along. Brahmin, as was said, Brahmin is a student life. You absolutely are happy to be a student. And as a result, there's love for knowledge. In one family, one can be Brahmin, one can be merchant, one can be Shudra. It's the same family, but different souls are at different levels, and their expression will be different. So one who is in the Brahmin phase, he absolutely has love for knowledge. I'll give you one example. One girl says she, in her some few sisters, parents are visiting some other their friends, and they are taking children there. But this particular girl will take her books. Others are taking toys, others are taking something else. But this girl will take her books. As soon as she reaches the other house, she will find some corner, sit there with her books, and go through her books, read her books, take notes. And it is not just studies, but it is love for knowledge. And that is, these are like those souls are in the Brahmin phase. As a result of this, they have simplicity in their life. They don't have many complications. Merchants and all, those who are in that, their life is more, they want ornaments and diamonds and all. Brahmins gravitate to simplicity. They gravitate to cleanliness. Because simple, everything is easy for them to maintain. Less clutter in their place. Those who are in the Brahmin phase, they have a sense of the community service. So they have wisdom, they have knowledge. So they are able to think, oh, you can just do some little change and everyone can have a good hygiene, they can have, so they may open a library because they already got so many books. They want to open a library, make it easy for others to learn, encourage them. But they have a sense, they take some responsibility. They may have this love towards God, want to know God, but their God will be God. We saw yesterday, the God of ego is different to God of what we are discussing. Their God is God of wisdom, is a symbol of truth. So they want to know God. They might, it is possible, Brahmins can be, we are giving these different things. Some may have some tendencies more dominant, some are less, but they may think God as a symbol of truth and they want to know God. They might not use the word God, because as was said yesterday, that word is debased, but they are still aware that there is some higher truth somewhere. Newton was using the word prisca sapienza, and he was searching for that ancient wisdom. He knew that at present what is available and what is all this research, it is giving us a fraction of something, but there is something higher. And he called it prisca sapienza. So some might say, I don't want to know God because that is where I will get the true wisdom, this kind of language. So this is Brahmin, those who are in the Brahmin phase. As a Brahmin, you may be very lucky to come across the right knowledge. You can be Brahmin, but you may be reading history of some Scandinavia or somewhere, and the whole life you are studying about history, and that will not make you into a deity. But if you come across the right knowledge, that factor is there. You need to be lucky with this. It is that knowledge to come across Sanjivani you need that has power to take you into the omens of Neptune. You can become Brahmin, but Brahmin with the omens of Neptune is a bonus. If you are Brahmin and omens of Neptune, then it will take you right to the top. So result of that is a deity. To become a deity, you need to gain victory over demon. So for this, you need that precise details, knowledge. So a deity, what happens to a deity? How do you describe a deity? First thing is a deity, we can say, perfect man. Others will feel there is a perfection here. Sometimes language is used, he is not from this planet, this kind of language. He just sees things differently. Some might say is godlike. This kind of language people might use to this. Because they are naturally innocent, naturally sensible, wise. But most dominant feature of a deity is, what did we say about deity? Happiness. Take happiness, give happiness. They deal with happiness. And as a result, they are naturally positive. As an example, someone may have 10 defects, one virtue. They naturally notice the virtue. They think it's so wonderful, and same thing with everyone. So their yoga is with greatness and virtues, and they say everyone is so wonderful, so everyone's so good. They see that positive in everyone naturally. There are some people who have to read positive thinking books, but those who are deity, they are naturally in that positive space. something is, there may be 10 things going wrong in your life, one thing going right. He notices one thing that is going right. Great, excellent. He's so lucky. He feels lucky, and he is also lucky. One who is in the Brahmin, one who is in the deity phase, is lucky with life because there are less Vinash forces. To be a deity, what is happening there, deity? That inner life is, there is no demon, there is no ego, and as we saw, if there are no false identities, then there are forces of wonder. If there are false identities, there are Vinash forces. So deities don't have Vinash forces. So they are naturally lucky in life. They are positive. If you go into their history, health history, you will find that there are no problems all their life, but they are easy to treat also. And it's someone may have some health problem, but you just change diet, change something, some Bach flower remedy. It's enough. It works for them. Some diet, raw food diet, it works. Those who are in the other phases, they have to take so many strong medications to treat the same problem. But deities are lucky with the health. It is like they are fairly healthy. With COVID-19, they don't need to use the mask. They don't need to take the vaccine.
There's a whole discussion there, but they won't mind either way. They won't get issues. Yeah.
For those who are in the merchant, and it is better they take vaccine.
Nothing wrong with vaccine as such, but yes, not to.
So the deity life, they rich in heart, rich in head, automatically they are, as was said, perfect. So if you, whenever they open their mouth, whenever they are, you see there is a sense, there is some balance. That is what others will feel. There is a balance here. They are not emotional, just taking, off the tangent. That is less. They are controlled, connected to their heart, and connected to the head also. So that is a deity. Those who are in the deity phase, they are your good friends. If you are looking for a friend, the people are looking for a deity as a friend. Or they say, I want such a person. The deities are perfect friends. Because in their presence, you are uplifted also. And they see the best, they see the highest. They naturally, they bring others up. But we do not stay in one phase forever. So also we do not stay deities forever. We come into the next phase, and the next phase is Mr. Warrior. And warrior, and when he's in the, he cannot access that same happiness. About deity, you ask a deity to wash these 20 pots, within the next hour. He will do it with happiness. He will enjoy it. He will say, it is like a fun. The deeper attitude is fun. You tell him middle of the night, shall we go for a walk? His immediate answer is sure. Deities are not fighting. They will sort of do things. They want to please others, as much as possible. They will do things just out of happiness. It is more expression of happiness. They like to go for walks, just happiness. They like to climb mountains, happiness. That is the deity. Warriors, they don't have that. If you are asking them to wash pots, they will do it, but a different energy of tolerance. They feel they are tolerating it, or courage, not the happiness. The feeling of risk taking, that is very, very strong in warriors. Adventure spirit. What deities are doing just out of fun, the warrior feels it is an adventure, and it is a risk, this kind of thing, or tolerance. They are using different. They are doing the same thing. Not extreme hatred compulsion. It is not with that, but there is a sort of courage but not happiness. But the reason they are called warriors, if the need be, they are ready to fight also. They may gravitate towards fighting and battle, but not a criminal. But for a certain cause, they are ready to fight, solve injustice through fight, battle. They like to dominate. They like to rule. Tendency towards that. The other tendency in the warrior, they bring in competition. They want to get there before you. Deities are not into competition. Deities are cooperating with one another. They love everyone. They are not in competition. Maybe friendly competition, but warriors get into the competition. They want to be the top. So we said, the warriors, the deities like to walk out of fun. They like to climb mountains out of fun. They may go to Mount Everest. Why do they want to go to Mount Everest? They just enjoy walking. They enjoy climbing. So they go to Mount Everest every day after breakfast. They are not talking about it. It is just fun for them to go to Mount Everest. A warrior will go to Mount Everest, but he will take his flag with him. He wants to go there before you. He is in competition. What else will he do? He will tell others, or see how amazing he is climbing on Mount Everest. He will put his photograph on the Facebook. What else? If it goes into Instagram, then definitely not a deity.
Twitter, Snapchat.
So in history, you will see there are some, including Europe, They showed courage, they showed risk-taking, that sailed, leaving one country, finding another place, and it is a huge adventure, risk, courage, but also wanted to rule and dominate, and they showed that happened done, because at that time they were in the warrior phase. Also competition, wherever they go, there was competition from other warriors, but they were ready for that competition, ready to fight. And as was said, they don't stay in the same phase forever. They were warriors at one time, the same souls down the line then become merchants. They come in the next phase. So they are now in the merchant phase. And maybe let me ask a question first. There were deities at one time. What makes deities into warriors? Why deities become warriors?
Maybe temptation. Someone wrote earlier that warriors work for name and fame, so maybe they got like drawn into the story, got impressed with themselves. Like Sita, they also stepped out of the line.
Yeah, good. So the moment you create first attachment to that story world, what happens with the attachment? Fear comes. You are going to lose it. It is you are into the taking support from a broken branch. What will it do? It will only bring fear. And then you are catching to another broken branch. So now you are in that spiral. And courage means there is fear. That's why courage. If there is no fear, then you don't need courage. So deities, they are into happiness because they are not catching any broken branch. That's why they are experiencing inner happiness. It is not happiness of cakes. They experience supersensuous happiness. But when they same one reach the warrior level, now they are they are holding on to some broken branches. So there is fear. That's why different energy, courage is required, and all these other uh, tendencies. But this original deity personality of love and happiness and contentment, which is the real nature of the soul, that is not accessed. They are not able to experience it. Then comes merchant. Why merchant? Why warrior becomes a merchant? Do you want to tell?
More trapped.
Yeah, more attachments.
Greed.
Now he has got children and grandchildren and cat and dog and the television and this, and you have to pay license to this and donkey, and he has got all this, collecting clutter, so many attachments, and he's missing this and he's going to lose this, and he's busy with his household phase, and adventure is not a priority. To go to the North Pole is not his priority. So he chooses a life where there is some kind of peace. So he want to settle down somewhere. That's why the merchant is a good position for him, that he can settle down. And he's really looking for comfort. Which means he says, you can rule, that there is no problem, you rule, just buy my computers, and so those who are in the merchant phase, there is disproportionate obsession with money, as if that is everything is revolving around money. More, this kind of thing. Those who are in the Brahmin phase, they worship books. They sometimes literally worship books, but they, at least in spirit. Those who are in the warrior, they worship weapon. Sometimes literally worship weapon. But some players, they are in the warrior phase. They worship their bat, their ball. They feel that is like a big thing for them. So merchants, they worship money. And other thing, merchant has a soft feelings is food. Food is important for those who are in the merchant phase. They liked fried, they like chips. What else happens with merchants? What else do you see? How do merchants go to Mount Everest? We said the deities will go to Mount Everest out of happiness. Warriors will go with their flag. How will merchants go to Mount Everest?
Yeah, so maybe a helicopter. And if they go, it would be to sell equipment. Business motivation. Yeah, he would make business out of it somehow. He would go on a business trip. Yeah. With his
Actually, a merchant, he will not go to Mount Everest, but he will sell tickets and he will arrange tours, to go to Mount Everest. We'll open some shops on way for people to buy their souvenirs. And brain works like that, there is money that is very central for him. So those who are in the merchant phase, they like this tendency of opulence. Opulence is to show their what they got, the show off their wealth. One is to collect wealth and to show off. So the tendency, some people, their wedding, they want to spend millions, but and they tell also, we spent so much on this wedding. That is a merchant. They want to show diamonds, gold. They want to show the car, big car. That is all opulence. That is a uniqueness of the merchant. Warriors may not be thinking that way, because for them it is something different. They want to show how wonderful their weapons are. But for merchant, that is important. More expense, less taste. So if you go to their house, you will see that less taste, more expense. If you go to the household of a deity, there's less expense, more taste. Because intellect is working differently. With little thing, they say, oh, this can be done. Some some tree there, it can be cut like this. It appears very tasteful and very nice. Everyone likes to be there. Whereas in the merchant house, there's lots of glitter and they have lots of expense, but less taste. And there is opulence. There will be Encyclopedia Britannica, it's all the volumes there. With the cover is matching with the color of the lampshade. But it is at such a height, no one can reach there. No one has read either, but it is there. It is one more feather in the hat. So you tick, it is there. Everyone can see. Oh wow, most expensive encyclopedia is already here. So anyone is in the merchant phase? Do you know anyone?
Actually, the questions that are coming are about, she's saying, I see mixed phases in everyone around, including myself. So we might recognize ourselves in all of these in different ways.
Yeah, we move gradually from one to the other. There may be some overlaps sometimes, but sometimes some say, I see deity in me, I see warrior in me, I see merchant in me. But imagine there is a one day there is a football match, there is a seminar, some discussion, very interesting, event happening, talk or seminar. There is a football match and there is a party. All three things are happening on the same day. What do you choose? That gives you an idea. One person will say, I want to come to the seminar, but he doesn't give his name, or he keeps the open. He doesn't commit. Only if the party is cancelled, he comes. If the party is not cancelled, then that is a priority. So it gives you an idea of what is the which phase really you are in. If you are a Shudra, party is important for you. If you are a warrior, the football match, that is more important for you. If you're a Brahmin, then you will go to the seminar. No questions. That is, he doesn't battle with decision making. For him, it is.
That probably answers this question. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And that, within one day, we might feel differently from, say, morning to afternoon and evening. But by this token, it sounds like it's deeper than just.
Yeah. There's underneath pattern, and that is where do you take your decisions about life, and you will get this feeling. But as we see further, we will get a better idea. So from the merchant, we come to the next phase, and next phase is called the Shudra phase. And Shudra phase is a time of laziness, because running out of all energies. There is no happiness also, there is no courage either, and everything is running out. What has happened? He has gone further down the spiral. Merchant is taking him further down, with all this money, and eating fried food. It has reached further down the spiral. And now then there is no energy left. But laziness of the head presents as dullness. and the dullness presents, everything gets distorted. You may give some information, some knowledge even, it gets distorted. You hear it back from him, it has gone into other direction of the tangent. Distort. Like some of the things, like even say Ram Sita story that we spoke, it has value if you understand it as a very clear, go into the details of it and see your own life in the face of that. Every word is important, not to change it. Sometimes you hear it, it is already completely distorted. And he mixes it with some other story somewhere else. And then it is irrelevant. That whole knowledge is gone, and because some other stories they are not based upon psychodrama. There are many stories in the world, they are not all worked out very thoroughly. It is not based on what is happening inside us. But it gets that is exactly what happens, distort, and then it becomes there appears to be knowledge, but it is working for Ravan. So there is laziness, there is dullness. But another thing that happens with Shudra, you want to make a guess? We said laziness, dullness, but what is the extra thing of the Shudra? Even those who heard it before can tell. What makes Shudra Shudra?
He becomes a worker, so maybe sort of almost enslaved kind of way.
The word is indulgence. Yeah. So some call it hits. So what the life of the Shudra is, he had coffee. What next? Maybe chewing gum. What next? Maybe watch television. What next? Cigarette. So it is like a cheap pleasures. Different heads of Ravan need different things. His life is just pleasing different heads of Ravan. And it is like a bigger, Sita has become a bigger slave to Ravan in that phase. And so this indulgence is a dominant feature of a Shudra. And it is opposite. We said Brahmin life, there is cleanliness. In a Shudra life, it is the opposite, less cleanliness. In Brahmin life, there is simplicity. Shudra life, there will be more clutter, opposite of simplicity. Brahmin life, there is knowledge, wisdom. Here, it is distorted. Everything is distorted. If you want to take notes, don't take notes from the Shudra because they will all be distorted, and take your own notes. Sometimes go for the original rather than the notes. You go to the household of Deity, as was said, you might see perfection. It is not like a. Let us see Brahmin first. You go to the household of a Brahmin, you will see cleanliness, simplicity, some books, some slogans written somewhere, but they are inspiring. Some photographs, but photographs of people, they are to inspire, to educate. And that is what you will see, but an environment of uplifting environment. Vibrations that people will say it is uplifting vibrations. So that is Brahmin. Go to the household of a deity, there will be natural perfection. Everything appears just right. And they feel elated. Others feel good in that atmosphere of happiness and positive atmosphere. And of course, no one is using mask.
I think Shudra might also not use masks, so might have to be careful.
Go to the household of the warrior. You might see the skin of a tiger somewhere. And you will see some ancestral photographs with their military uniform. You might see some weapons. Some they have their in their even wedding ceremony. They use machine gun sound. They fire bullets in the air. That is very warrior tradition. Like even here in this UK, England, the royal family getting married. His groom is in the military uniform. His wedding. Why do you need military hat there? But that is the warrior tradition, military, their rank. That is most important for them. And and their birthday will be celebrated with 21 gun salute. In different ways. That is the warrior tradition. The weapons come. They want to show their might. They want to show their strength. And that comes in ordinary everyday culture, competition, and that tendency to promote competition. It can come in the form of sport, but that is still the warrior. That same tendency continues. You go to the house of a merchant, what will you see? Go to the house of a merchant.
Lots of food.
Yeah, you will definitely get smell of chips. You will see lots of glitter, ornaments, and gold everywhere, and yeah, that is what you will see. Talk about money, what is happening to the shares, and that is in the air. You feel, oh, I did not invest in that. They will say you are such a fool, you didn't invest. This is the time to buy these shares. You don't even know anything about this. They will know which prices, which place things are cheap, where you can buy this right thing at the right time. You get the latest, update. Maybe Financial Times. Go to the household of a Shudra. What will you see? Possibly they are asleep when you arrive there. But there will be smell also, but not of chips, but different kinds of smell. And
Mess. People have written clutter.
to go and so if you got some charity spirit, You can create time and keep it tidy. Yeah, that is the household of the Shudra. Now, after Shudra comes another phase. What is this phase after Shudra? We said demon. And demon, it is opposite of the deity. Deity, take happiness, give happiness. Demon, take sorrow, give sorrow. Everything is distorted. What happens is, as a Shudra, you are working flat out. Whatever demon, there are 10 hits of Ravan needs, you are giving it. You are a slave, feeding demon. So demon becomes full blast. That's why the next phase is the demon. And demon is very insecure. He's caught in that story in a big way, all these hates. So they are quick at taking offense. All the ego have become so big. So quick at giving offense, taking offense. Take sorrow, give sorrow. This is like a burden for the person himself. So someone has got 10 virtues, one defect. He is looking at the defect. He sees himself as a victim, one who is in the demon mind, and that's why he constantly looks for dangers. As a result, he looks at defects of everybody. That is most important for him. His yoga is with defects, and he feels the whole world is negative. Everyone is bad, and world is so negative, so terrible. Everyone is after him. Paranoia is very, he doesn't take it lightly. Some small things, someone, little criticism, he doesn't take it lightly. He absolutely holds it, and for his rest of the life. And he has got very definite, these are my enemies. And they have to be punished whole life. That paranoia. A different level. Someone has done 100 good things, one wrong thing. He just remembers one wrong thing. Completely ignores all the 100 good things that have happened. That is very demonic. It cannot be changed. Just even if someone notices this, it cannot be changed. The deeper ego has to go. That ego has to be dismantled. Just by saying, "Oh, this is true. I want to remove this," it will not just disappear. But as the ego dissolves, then these tendencies disappear. And a warrior will go to war and battle, but warrior goes for some cause, some principle. Demon can become criminal because he has got a negative hatred, offense. He feels it is his revenge is a very dominant aspect in the demon. Yeah, excellent. Do you want to add anything? That as a result of this, this last phase we said demon, that is like a burden. The soul cannot handle this burden of sorrow, and it forces him to become. It forces him to become Brahmin again, and he comes back to to the student life. We all will have our own lowest, whatever it is. It may not be full-fledged demon, as we said here, but our own lowest, and then the things change. We got a very good example in this country, and one brother in London, the people call him Spike, and we invite him in Cambridge sometimes to give a public talk, and people like to hear his talk. He was in prison and he was a tramp, on the street, and member of the Hells Angels, this kind of a thing. And he said he would sort of give to the body. He knew he was going to die, and since I'm going to die soon, so he ignored, alcohol or drugs. But after all this, he was still alive. So he was a bit surprised. But one time, he was in prison, sudden moment of change. I want to change. And he started going to the library within prison, started reading books. And our one brother was going to that prison. He came in contact. He absolutely loved this knowledge. He would sort of want more books from him, And as soon as he's released, it so happens his first place, that recovery phase out of prison was very close to our center. So he was able to go to the center and just listen whatever is going on from morning till evening. He was absolutely hungry to listen whatever that is going on. And a regular Brahmin now, and the government is supporting him. But he is got into college, university, and when he comes to give the talk, he comes with his tie and hat and coat, and it's a big transformation. But we went to his lowest and came out into proper. He understands knowledge properly. So that is one extreme example. But everyone goes through their own lowest, and then it bounces back up and becomes Brahmin and then a deity. So maybe I'm happy to stop at this point. What we said are different phases. As was said, a cross-section of any place, any city, you will see there are some in the Brahmin phase, some percentage in the deity phase. All those who have come on the planet for the first time. Population is increasing because souls are coming on this stage at different times. The new ones, they are in their deity phase. The older ones are further down in the merchant in the Shudra phase. This knowledge says large majority are in the Shudra phase. We may have some other tendencies, but if we have any of these tendencies of indulgence and laziness, that it is the Shudra, and then some. But someone says, okay, I am in the merchant phase, I am in the warrior phase. What can I do next? Everyone can become a student. We can't become a deity. I cannot say from today I'm going to become a deity, because lots of work has to be done to become a deity. But anyone can become a student, and within that there is benefit, because as a student you are going up, and then process is forward, upward. Now is the right omens. You have come across the right people, right place, knowledge is there. So take the full advantage and go under these omens, special omens, and it is like going up. Otherwise, all the other phases, things are going to go down. We don't know what will happen in future and the next life, we don't know. But right now, take every opportunity where there is opportunity of going upward, and take that opportunity and become full Brahmin, strong Brahmin. If the Brahmin phase is strong, then your deity phase will last longer. It will be strong. If the Brahmin phase is not very strong, then the deity phase will be short, and you will then go into other phases longer. Maybe merchant phase may be longer. That is a bit worrying. So if you want to spend less time in the merchant phase, then better make your Brahmin phase strong so that you stay in the deity phase longer. Just as, there are in our colleges, universities, there are certain entrance, 1 year, a bit like a, 10th, in some A levels. At that point, if you are not serious in studies, it affects your whole life. You can't get in the right college, you can't get admission, and then it affects your whole life. If that phase you are serious, it affects your life. It changes your whole destiny. Same happens here. In Brahmin phase, if you are understanding the value of this and give it importance, then it affects your whole cycle. Whole journey of the soul is affected by this. And if that is ignored, that is made weaker, it affects the rest of the cycle.
So we can take a break for rooms, and
Yes.
after that we'll be hearing from Belinda, who's joining us from South Africa. So appreciation, also thanking Chinese translator Karen has been with us, and also Cici. So just want to thank, in case Karen goes, for all your hard work. Let's create a few moments to just reflect on a question. What is the method to bring about change, conquer Ravan, and become a deity? So this is something that is in our hands. So what about reflecting on that for a minute, and then we will be having a chance to hear from others and also share. Thank you. Enjoy the discussion opportunity. We'll meet you back in just over 10 minutes. Thank you. Suddenly being thrown into another phase. I do hope that you managed at least to get some sharings, a little bit shorter time today. Let's take just a short moment, because it's always great to just pause and come back to the simplicity of the invisible traveler. Thank you. That was just half a minute, but some change. Now I'm really happy to welcome in Belinda, who's going to be sharing some thoughts. And yeah, good afternoon. I think you're ahead of time. Warm welcome.
Thank you, Sarah. Yes, it's afternoon here, and very lovely to be on Sanjeevani today. I was just reflecting on, when people have a brush with death, it very often changes their priorities. You'll often hear people saying that their priorities change. And we may not be having a brush with death, but this knowledge gives us such a good opportunity to think about what kind of quality of life that we really want. And if that becomes paramount, the most important thing, then we will take the steps to bring about that quality of life. And today, if we look at the contrast between these different phases, but perhaps in particular the Brahman and the Shudra, and we may see the Shudra in the self, but there will be the pure desire, the intention, and perhaps the determination to transform that and come back to the Brahman stage, because the Brahman stage is the stage that is going to, in a very short space of time, enable us to return to the happy deity that we really want to experience. So the Brahman stage is like a golden opportunity for that. And it also makes us realize that we have the option. It may be that often we think, well, that's just the way I am. And we get stuck with that. But here we realize that, wait, there's a kind of flow through these different stages. And in which direction do I want to flow? And that is actually in my hands. And that even when the line is crossed into Ravan's world, to remember that everything depends on the decision of Sita. There is always that option to choose to stay in Ravan's kingdom or to come out. And there was quite a lot of discussion about understanding. And we've heard that Paris is that essential, we can call it a tool or a gift that is going to enable us to constantly deepen the understanding. And as the understanding deepens, the clarity comes, and the quicker we are able to discern when we cross that line and to make the decision to come out. And the happiness of the deity is something that is so attractive that the student or the Brahmin student can be, as long as the understanding is there, can be so motivated. And it is like a game. To play this game fully with full intention, to use all the wisdom and the methods to make sure that the game is played well and that ultimately we become the victorious one over Ravan. So it's like, in a way, it's like a multidisciplinary approach to stay awake, that at any time to check that the true self, am the traveler, the guest, that everything here is temporary and is going to finish, whether it's some situation that comes in front or anything. It is temporary at this level of the box, as we've seen. And just to keep that attention on the self, checking that the soul is staying light, playing the game well, is awake, knows the enemy, knows the tactics of the enemy, and knows that ultimately this beautiful flow is going to carry the soul into that deity stage for as long as possible. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. It's nice to weaving these themes. It kind of freshens, and the flow is a bit like the salmon going upstream, I think. So in a way, when we see it as a game, it's like a amazing reason and purpose and vision, and a student life with this discipline is so much more alive than when we come from the indulgence part of the Shudra. It's like, I think we've probably all gone there, you know, where you have what you think you need and still not happy. So this energy of a direction, it's for Sita is so beautiful, that happiness of the student life. Thank you so much, and great to have you with us. So acknowledging all the wonderful questions, so we maybe invite Prashant also. Hi, come back.
Yeah, and Belinda, very nice to see you, and thank you for sharing.
Are you ready for questions?
Yes.
So yes, one question: why do these deity beings start holding on to that broken branch when they were awake and free? Why do they even start doing that?
I mean, that is the whole story, you know. Ram doesn't cross the line. Sita crosses the line. You know, and there's constant golden deers, different kinds of golden deers. And at some point, Sita feels she has to cross the line, you know, just for a short, small reason. But that's the difference between Ram and Sita. Once one crosses the line, then the game changes for everybody.
Someone more of a comment. So having all the money, achieving so much, one might think they're progressing, but actually they're just going further down. What's the point of this height? It's more of a comment or kind of feeling, but if you want to.
Yeah, now is as Belinda said, now is the time to go up and that is why this is all we can do. What can we do now, today? We have the choice, and we'll see what happens in the future.
And you were mentioning new knowledge, new factors. They change the game. If, like you said, the Brahmin gets the knowledge that shifts. Do I start the shift as a Brahmin and change? And how does this improve the intellect?
We start the process. Once we start the process, so Brahmin is the student. Just like any student, he starts, and then down the line, then he becomes qualified person. He even becomes a teacher. Same here. We start the process.
Do Brahmins love books in general, or just their own study?
Life is, one is the study as a duty, but those who are Brahmins, they have love for knowledge, from the heart. It is not just because they have to pass the exam, that everyone does, but those who are Brahmin at a deep level, they have love for knowledge.
Sort of, it's not intellectual, but more like a deeper understanding of life.
Yes, yes.
How to make the most of each phase, what to learn from each one. I'm not sure if...
I understand. And there are different phases. That is more academic. To learn is to come to the Brahmin phase. That is when we are going up, and that is the phase of learning. Rest all is a story. That's the way the drama is.
You kind of answered this question, but I will ask it in case there's something to add. Is it that each soul has to move to the demonic phase and then only enter the Brahmin phase?
Each one goes to his own lowest. If you are even taking sorrow, that is demonic. Giving sorrow is another, but taking offense and sensitivity, that is all goes in the department of the demonic. Then he might give offense, that is another.
It's in the contrast, isn't it, to deity? So dealing with sorrow. I like the concept of leapfrogging, which is used in sustainable development, that someone doesn't have to go through the same trajectory like in the Industrial Revolution. If they are a developing country, they go straight to solar power. And in the same way, knowledge, we can get the idea and the hint, but we don't have to go into the expansion of these phases. We sense the lowest and then choose the student life. So addiction, is it because of trying to seek true happiness and contentment?
Yeah, addiction is like we are reaching the Shudra level, and it is Ravan's happiness. And it is like a time when you don't see, it is leading to more sorrow that is not seen. Intellect is locked.
Yeah. And are all criminals in the demonic phase?
And we are in that direction. When there is the Ravan's department begins much earlier. Ravan is criminal. Just that when you are in the demonic phase, Ravan is fully, dominant. But Ravan's department started much earlier.
And a different question, this is the last one I have here. How can we love other people, have that love regard without crossing the line, how to get the balance right.
Love the souls when you are in that truth. Then that is, truth is very, very straightforward for us. Truth. In the Cinderella world, you don't have your true family is not in the Cinderella world. When we are confused, we ignore the true family. We are loving Cinderella. When you are in truth, you are very clearly seeing the true family. They are invisible witnesses, invisible brothers. You love them. That is the world of the father and the family. All are incorporeal. So that is where our heart is. That's where our true family is. And then you come in the drama. There is a drama. That is, you are watching it with the full detachment.
Mm. Yeah, that makes sense. And just love for the souls, not Cinderella, really sums it up. And when we as if love Cinderella, we're trapping others into the limited. So it's really something to start to deeply recognize, even in the name of ... It can be quite deceiving. So yeah, very insightful, but all needs reflecting on. So yeah, there are no more questions, and I know we've reached time. And something you want to add, final reflections?
And we will be meeting at the other two sessions. Sanjeevani in the remaining two sessions. So you got a lot to revise and lot to experiment with. We will also be listening to the song before we finish today.
Yeah, we have to finish with a song. It's celebration as well for Sita, for all the Sitas, and our own experience and examples we will be sharing with others naturally, just by the way we are. So yeah, we'll be sending an email. The follow-up will be two sessions. That will be Wednesday 8th, Thursday 9th for same timings. And thank you. And especially translation appreciation for this. And we will be sending information if you check the spam, if you don't hear from us, as sometimes happens, to stay in touch. And the dedication and your interest has been amazing. It just supports everyone. So this community we can create in this way is just a wonder. So thank you. Thank you, Prashant. And we will, yeah, it's a pleasure on behalf of the team. We'll be sharing a song, and it's like a reflective song based on these ideas. So enjoy, and we will see you again very soon. Thank you so much.
We're not just bodies playing our part in this earthly drama, blind to depart. But deep inside there's a truth we can see. It is not our world for eternity. The silence calls, it's the world we belong. A realm of peace where we are strong. world of illusion, so loud and so bright, is not our home, it's not our light. We are the essence beyond all form. Knowing the soul world, we are transformed. The Father of peace, He calls us near. In His silence, there's nothing to fear. Awaken now to the world of the soul. This earth is a shadow, the true world's whole. Beyond the noise, beyond the race, there's a silent world, a sacred space. We are eternal, pure and free. The riches of the soul world we truly see. The Father supreme, the ocean of light. In the soul world we find our sight. Pure and peaceful beyond the sky. In His embrace we rise, we fly. No harm can touch, no pain can stay. To the soul world we find our way. Awaken now to the world of the soul. This earth is a shadow, the true world's whole. Beyond the noise, beyond the race, there's a silent world, a sacred space. We are eternal, pure and free. The riches of the soul world we truly see.
See you soon. Enjoy the homework. Shanti. Bye bye.